Hello, guys. Mohammed here, and this is episode number 5 of the 60-second Insights. Today, we have a really interesting subject to talk about. We're going to talk about dating in the 21st century, dating in the age of countless amount of social media platforms, dating in the age of countless amount of dating apps. I'm really excited about this episode because I will be sharing a lot of personal experiences. I would share with you my perception of dating nowadays and few insights that I was able to really use and implement to give myself a better outcome in every single interaction that I decide to venture in. Without further ado, let's get into it. But before we get into it, if it's your first time in the channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date with every single drop that we have. So, dating, I have my notebook here and it's going to be fun. So, my perception of dating today, I see dating today as, you know, a couple of people get together either to find each other on a dating app or they came across each other at the bar or whatnot. They set up, long story short, they set up a dinner or brunch, lunch or whatnot, and they go sit across each other and tell each other stories, share with each other, exchange in the way that they keep the end goal in mind. What do I mean by end goal? The guy is sitting talking to the girl. He knows what he wants out of the girl. Girl is sitting talking to the guy. She knows what she wants out of the guy. And a lot of time, they're gonna sit there and say things that they believe the other person want to hear, and vice versa. So they're gonna sit there for an hour or two and lie to each other just to get this thing started. And right after that, they get things started. Maybe fun for a month, maybe fun for 2 months, a year, like a year or even more. But eventually, it crumbles because it was built on the foundation of sand, and nothing can stand in the foundation of sand. It's kind of funny how the sand kind of follows each other there, right? I call that aspect the marketplace of emotions, right? I don't know about you, but I don't want to play with anything that has to do with, my heart, because you don't want to play about, your heart, right? And emotions is really something that once you break your emotions to a certain level, it's really hard to get it back and trust the next person, right? So, what do I suggest in this situation? I believe that if we are willing and able to discuss our interests genuinely to the other person, we have a better chance of, getting what we want because we are very clear and specific about what we want, but also keeping ourselves away from anything unexpected that can happen in the situation that would create hatred or anything after that. Because throughout every experience you're gonna live beyond attention residue, and you're gonna carry on with memories and experiences that's gonna affect every single decision you're gonna take after that. Imagine you're sitting with a girl and on a date, and you tell her, hey, I really like your energy. I feel like we're connecting so many level. As far as this dating thing, I don't think I'm ready to get in a dating scenario, maybe because you're focused on learning more about yourself and what you like, or maybe you have other commitment professionally or personally that you feel like it's time right now to prioritize those uh, those things, and therefore you're not going to be able to commit the right amount of time that would make you a good boyfriend or good girlfriend, right? But however, you feel like having the connection, or like having some type of relationship with the person you are sitting across is going to be fun. It's going to be great. You're going to get to learn a lot from each other, and you can potentially potentially something much more serious and something phenomenon can come on the other side of that, right? Like clarity, you have clarity. And if you're a girl, you're like, hey, I'm not ready to get into a relationship, but I like your energy. I feel like you are in a place where I can learn a lot from you. You are in a place where I can pretty much, you're in an industry that I feel like I want to venture in, and having you in my side will be a great asset for me to efficiently venture into that, specific arena. But what's happening? We're gonna conceal our like first interest, right, around the idea of emotions. Oh, I really like you, I love you here and there, and it's just not genuine, and the consequences are much greater than whatever benefits you're gonna get out of that specific relationship. That being said, I hope this was like really clear enough to give us the understanding that it's very important for us to be genuine and express our interest to the people that we are meeting for the meeting, really much pretty much setting up the tone at the beginning of the relationship. And if that's not what the other person is looking for, they're going to express that to you, and you don't waste time, and you don't waste time, or you don't waste energy, pretty much, right? Because we are in the, as I told you in the beginning, we have countless amount of dating apps, we have countless amount of social media platforms, and even though it's like can have some consequences, we value less the connection, the personal connection with people, because we feel like we can just click on a block feature and block somebody and you never have to speak to that person again, and go tomorrow and talk to another person that is completely new, right? But at the same time, it offers us a big pool of choice. And if the person you're genuine with doesn't align, or doesn't is not interested with what you're interested in, at least you are open. I call the dating scene today the marketplace of emotion for a reason. And what I'm pleading and like really hoping for all of us to be able to do is at least trade fairly in this marketplace of emotion. If you just want to be around a guy because you feel like you have the financial support to support you, express it. If the guy is at that level to support you, he's gonna support you. And if you're a guy and you just wanna be with that girl, be intimate with that girl because you think she's hot and there is nothing behind it, express it. Express it. Maybe she's looking for someone like you also that is hot, that is responsible, that so you guys can go on that journey of learning more about yourselves, right? So if we can trade fairly, we're gonna be a lot better off. You see these days girls that just wanna, spend guys' money, and they don't wanna give the guys what they want. And you see guys that wanna, get to the girl, but not they give the girl what they want. And that's unfair, and we're just wasting a lot of our time, and we're just creating animosity. So let's be straight to each other and have a fair trade in the marketplace of emotion. 2021 dating scene. I call it the marketplace of emotion. I'm really excited about that term, and every time that I mention it, my friend just kind of feel excited about it. So that was the first version of the video, right? Now we are people that we have clarity, and we know we're gonna express ourselves the way we feel when we meet somebody. That's the first stage. Next stage is the whole idea of commitment, right? The whole idea of commitment, we have to understand that we our finest years is our 20s and 30s. If you're within that bracket, I believe that most of my audience is within that bracket. It's a time that we have to commit more to finding out about ourselves, learning more about ourselves, than throwing ourselves into a relationship that might, a relationship. Not okay, you could be in a relationship, not completely define that it's like the type of relationship. If you're gonna throw yourself in a growth relationship, it's great. But a lot of time, people put themselves and they get themselves into a relationship, and they feel like, oh, now we are one. Our emotions are shared, our finances are shared, everything is shared. And you're gonna see, if you are in a situation where it's not well balanced, you're gonna find one person pulling more of the weight. and one person trying more to settle. And that's the biggest mistake that can happen in a relationship. Even though if you guys are aligned together, each person should be able to go wage their own war and fight their own battle, because your path is very important to you. The relationship is here today and it might not be here tomorrow. You don't want to find yourself lost after a relationship. And we have, you know, you probably know someone that just got out of something like that. You give up entirely to what you were chasing before the relationship, and boom, you got into a relationship. You start like devoting most of your time to that person. You started paying less attention to yourself. You started putting on weight. You stopped pretty much making yourself pretty because you was in the marketplace. You need to look attractive and all of that. But once you got into the relationship, you settle, and you kind of feel like you don't have to do any of the work more. It's the concept that John Kim in his book Single on Purpose have really outlined it, and it's one of the amazing suggestions I'm going to suggest to you guys in this book, in this episode as well. You should check it out, right? So commitment, it's a very serious a serious thing. You have to really make sure you can commit and still be able to follow your dreams and follow your journey. Because if you miss like if you're within your 20s and your 30s, that's like the time where you mostly are going to find your one thing that's gonna, allow you to like the one thing in your career, right? People say, oh, 20 and 30, you're young, you can screw things up in your 20s, and in your 30s, you can start becoming successful at 40s, or you can start becoming successful at 50. It's all great. Not putting that down whatsoever, but I just prefer to get successful as early as possible so I can enjoy it much longer. It's something that Myron Golden have mentioned. And I was like, wow, this is really deep, right? But wouldn't you rather be successful as early as possible? No, success is something a complete different topic that we can talk about. But just getting your finances together and as early as possible, of course we do, right? So commitment is a very big thing, and we have to really spend a lot of time on it before we get started. And what's the next aspect? The person you are going to commit with. So one of the amazing aspect of uh, the quarantine effect, I just learned it a couple of days ago from Mike Long. And quarantine is effect. What is quarantine effect? It's like, okay, you're starting a relationship with someone. You quarantine the first stage of the relationship, which you can define. Okay, at first, let's go on the first date and see if everything is great. We can start worrying about what's next. Okay, after the first date, everything is great. Let's have a second date and see how things goes. Let's hang out a weekend together and see how we like behave if we spend a lot of time together, right? Like the aspect, I'm just giving examples, but the quarantine effect is like taking things on stages. And the idea of, love can really get you to do things. To ignore that aspect, it can cause a big impact, a big like negative impact in your future, right? In your date, like in a dating career, I would say. Not dating career. That doesn't sound fair, but like in your dating journey, right? I made this personal mistake myself. Actually, one of the first person I've dated in America. It was in 2014. No, actually, not 2014. I think around 2016, 15, 16. Met this girl from Switzerland, beautiful. I was like, wow, this is the girl I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And all of a sudden, I find myself really like, my world was turning around her pretty much. And all of a sudden, less than 2, 3 months, boom, she decided to drop me and go marry somebody that offered to give her, help her get a green card, right? And my heart just sunk. It took me a lot of time to get out of it, right? But guess what happened? I did not consider the quarantine effect, taking things at the stages at the time. And that wasn't the first time. That wasn't the only time. The second time also, I met this girl, beautiful girl. amazing. I could see a lot of things that I was looking for in the girl at that time into her. And we hanged out first day. This might sound crazy, but like I did it. Like first day, right after we finished hanging out first day, next day she was in the process of trying to find another place to live. I was like, you know what? Why don't you move in with me? Literally after one day, I offered this girl to move in with me. And guess what happened? She freaked out. I would have, if I'm the person, I was the person in the other side, I would have freaked out too, right? And that was the end of the relationship. She disappeared, like, and that was it, right? And I would have done the same thing either. I don't blame her for this. But this is what happened if you don't consider the quarantine effect on in your dating in your dating. It's something that could be applied in different aspects and in all the different aspects of our life. But in this specific case, it's really valuable for dating as well. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is, yeah, getting to know yourself more than you like. You have to learn about yourself more before get to know yourself more before you start bringing somebody else into your life per se, right? You are here, you don't really know, okay, where you stand yet. And people like wonder like, oh, why did this girl left me? Because you are not a good prospect. You know, the more time you invest in yourself to figure out who you are, the more time you invest in yourself to like in all the different aspects of one's personality, getting your finances together, getting your health together, right? Working out, working out would give you the best look of your life. You know, I would say watching up give you the best, the best smell of your life. You know, like these are things that you need to take care of first before you start trying to bring somebody else into your life. If you're not on the path, like if you're not in the railway and you try to carry a wagon, imagine where you're going to go with that. You're not going to go anywhere. And that's what happened a lot of time in this, in our ecosystem. You see people that are like, complaining, why did this person took advantage of me, or why did this person lie to me, right? Because you're not a better prospect. Strive to become a better prospect. And when you become a better prospect, you automatically offer yourself the luxury of dating better prospect, right? And ultimately getting a better experience. Spend some time to get to know yourself. Spend some time to get your finances together. Spend some time to like get your look, your appearance together, right? And once you secure those things, you can have the ability to bring somebody into your circle and hope for a better experience, So that's also another aspect that I wanted to share with you guys. And besides that, I was thinking about something else, the fourth one. What was the fourth one? I should have noted this. It just came out of my head. But I think these are the three aspects I really wanted to share with you guys. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of it. And I might do a follow-up video after this because I couldn't get my head around the fourth one yet. I know this video is already long enough. So I hope you enjoy. And if you have a specific topic, like if you have a podcast or YouTube channel that you want me to come on and develop more on this, I'll be more than happy to do so. Or if you want to discuss on this aspect with me personally, I'll be more than happy to do so as well. You can find me on all social media platforms, Mohammadi Works. DM me and we'll get this going. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and share the content with your friends. In this channel, we are like no olds bar. I'm really excited about this series, and I'm sharing everything as much as I can. I'm not sharing worrying about somebody canceling me. I'm not sharing about worrying about somebody like argument. I believe that if you believe in something enough to say it, you should believe in enough to back it up. And that's how we're gonna end the video. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out. And until the next one, I'll see you guys.